fuck, I always forget the name. Not the clerk, the court reporter. No, the clerk. Stephanie, she called me this morning and asked me if my name was Spotted Turtle.
Is that your legal name?
I was like, no, but you know what? When I zoom in next time, if I'm observing, because I go in to observe sometimes just for the hell of it, right? I said that's what I'm going to put my name in, so you'll know it's me. Instead of it saying observer and my name, I'm going to put observer. Spotted
Turtle, I can't help but think back to the times that you were saying that you might have. I know you're well within your rights to do so because I read up on the law, but I wouldn't be surprised that people are calling in saying that you're doing things outside of where your rights to take notes are. And I think this, it's just what these people do.
Yeah,
right?
it is.
Okay, but who does that? What the fuck kind of life do you have to fucking take shit off of an app and try to fuck with somebody's real life? Like, these people are fucking disgusting.
Because they can't win an argument.
To report me.
They can't win an argument, right? This is why I say fucking awful things to them, right? Because I want them to get even more enraged and find like a dead end, and I want them to waste all their time hating me. Like that's just what I want.
Yeah, well, I support that.
Drive him nuts. Give him a nervous breakdown.
No, it was interesting.
She started a
because, like,
GoFundMe to get Fancy some new pillows for her husband.
whoever did it to me.
She done fucking rode those
know my
pillows
real
into a
name.
wet, lumpy mess thinking about me, didn't she? Yeah, she's up there fucking pillow riding. That's what she's fucking doing.
Oh no.
God, I mean, at least it's contributing to the community, kinda. I don't know.
Perfectly natural.
Yeah, I don't know. So for anybody who like caught secondhand hurt feelings off the things that I've said, just chill, man. Like I'm going against other people, not people that I care about. So like relax and shit. But whatever. I want to hurt them bad, and if there's secondhand hurt feelers, then reach out to me personally, and we can have a conversation. I'm just fucking literally turning screws on people.
I did.
Like Jimmy, when you looked it up about in lieu of taking notes, etc., right? Like when you first click on, it's misleading because
said
it
about
says
fancy
you're not allowed to. But if you scroll further down, you realize, oh, you are in fact allowed to.
You were absolutely right, and I read through it because I remember a couple months back we were having that conversation, and they dogpiled you really hard.
Yep.
And I'm like, well, I don't think she's stupid, so I'm gonna go look and see what she's talking about, and yeah, I can 100% corroborate that what you were saying was in fact true, right? So like, if you take a cursory level look at this, like a very pedestrian type of look at what they were talking about, it would seem so. But like when you read past the first paragraph, it's like, oh, right. So like, there's exceptions, right? So yeah, you're absolutely 100% allowed to do that. So.
And what's the amazing thing is the main exception that's not even in where you searched, you likely searched, which was OntarioCourts.ca or whatever, is Section 2B of the Charter, which is freedom of the press, which allows you to do it on that basis as well. So that even trumps whatever policies and rules they have in regards to audio recording. Now, what I do that is quote unquote against the law is, and it's not even in my opinion because of Section 2B, is video recording. No, I cannot legally disseminate it to the public until the case is finished. And that's what people don't understand. So when I follow a case through to the end, now that Peter Nygard has been found guilty, all those video recordings I have of his bail hearings, etc., I can disseminate that to the public. I can put it on TikTok and not be charged. Yes?
Spotted, when was he found guilty?
About a month and a half ago. He got...
Is he still in Headingley?
I'm sorry?
Is he still in Headingley Correctional?
No, he is in the South Detention Center. I believe they're waiting to transfer him, except that he's now got to go to Montreal to face his case there. And then there's kind of a weird glitch because America wants him to New York and the Virgin Islands want him. But Canada's not going to give him up because if they give him up to New York, he may get released on bail.
No, we can't allow that.
Anybody find it kind of wild that there's this like whole Drake versus like fucking Metro versus Future versus Rick Ross beef going on right now while Diddy's like up on charges and they're raiding his fucking houses. Like, this is the biggest distraction, I think. You know, like if you want to talk about drawing media attention away from what's going on with Diddy right now, like all these guys are like supposedly beefing right now. Kanye dropped a Dre beef diss, right? Like, this is weird. Shouldn't we be talking about what Diddy did? Right? And like, if you're 50 Cent right now, who's been fucking covering this shit the whole time, like, how frustrated are you now?
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt.
Live going while I've been settling. I just got home, so I appreciate you guys keeping the convo going while I'm like running around doing shit.
How's everybody doing?
We've been trying to be nice.
Good. How are you, Dylan?
Sorry, guys.
How you feeling today, buddy?
Same as usual.
Are you at home? Are you?
Yeah, I'm at home.
Oh, good.
Any
Kind of.
updates?
I missed my treatment today. Well, they told me not to come in. But,
Why?
well, they told me not to come in because they gave me my treatment a day later than they should have last week because I was admitted. So, I have to actually go tomorrow instead of today, but I have to be up at 6.
I'm sending you prayers.
Yeah. I wish I could do something, man. I wish we could wave a magic wand and everything would be like cured and good and.
Well, I told you about what they found on the weekend.
Yeah. That's. I don't even know what to
Yeah, Dylan, man, I hope you feel better too. Squirrel King is like on top of it. The Irish are rioting again. Yes, they are. So they've been bringing in a bunch of fucking Muslim immigrants into Ireland. Yeah, and famously, we've heard what like the Prime Minister of Scotland said. And they had a bunch of places earmarked for these people to go stay. The Irish have like lit fires on all of these houses that these immigrants are being bussed into. They're burning down the places where they're trying to put these people before they can get in there. Shit's popping off. I don't know what this migration scheme is or where these people are coming from or what countries are involved with this shit, but like fucking the Irish are absolutely 100% at full force riot. Fuck off, get out of the fucking country.
I saw that.
Wow.
Go Irish people.
But, they're actually looking pretty good though.
Good. I'm glad.
So my rates are actually going up instead of going down.
It's fun, Jimmy.
I'm gonna mute.
Why is Fancy Shanty right now? Fuck her. Fuck you, Fancy. Get the fuck out of my life.
Yeah, she's already blocked.
I just blocked her.
Oh, I blocked her too. We'll see what other accounts pop up. Samantha joined again. She's been
Samantha's
muted.
here. I was just about to say it.
I'm curious.
Why'd you get
Canadian
Samantha?
Sunshine joined.
Samantha's harmless.
Bye. Who else is joining? Who else is joining? Canadian Sunshine joined. That's a no. Who's Joy?
Wait, don't get too.
Joy? No, why? I'm watching. I'm watching the door. I'm just checking to see if they have an account.
Joy is good.
Okay.
Jimmy's bouncing people the fuck out that come in.
I just unblocked TikTok scientists for me personally because I think they can stay.
Samantha, okay, let Samantha stay.
Base Melt 5,000 joined. He's got 5,000 followers. Okay.
She's the dumbass person that we like to keep in our lives. Because
Well, fuck Fancy Pants.
Samantha, yeah.
I want her in here creeping.
Jump in on a different account. And you don't even know it's her. Oh,
See, you
no.
mute her.
Hello.
You mute her, the old battle axe, the bag lady, the
Bells.
mall walker.
Hey, Jimmy, how do you feel about taking a woman's voice as soon as she walks in a room?
Hold on. Let me
Does that make
answer
you
this
feel like a
question. Hold on,
tough guy?
Samantha.
off,
I'm gonna
you're
let you
not.
speak. I'm gonna let you speak, Samantha. Go ahead and ask your question without being interrupted, okay?
Why do you have me muted in the chat? Like, as soon as I walk in, you mute me in your chat so you can bring me up here to what?
I don't know. 'Cause I wanted to hear the
Jimmy, you
Polydent
fucking don't know me, you asshat. Go nod off on. Go nod off.
Yeah.
on
I wanted to
another
hear.
live,
I wanted to
okay?
hear.
And justify it by saying everybody nods off like that, you fuckwad.
Who's watching Samantha?
Samantha, you're wild, Mom.
Oh, she's
Bye.
She's a wild one.
Someone's grandma's upset again. Sorry, we've upset.
She would have been. She would have been fun to hang with back in 1802.
Living in hey, listen, you can't blame her. You can't blame her for being crotchety. Living in Extendicare.
What a gnarly old bitch that is, eh? Sounds like you smoke fucking 14 packs a day.
She doesn't like
She was probably.
turtle.
She was 90 Day probably shaking one of her gnarled fingers at the screen too.
I think she's got. I picture her hands of having like severe arthritis, and they're like all cricked up and fucking. She's like trying to stir the pot with like two hands together. Like this is how she stirs the pot when she's. Hold on a second. She's like, I'm making soup. I'm making soup for everybody.
That was worth turning on your camera, Jimmy. That was great. Thank you.
Well, I don't want to get flagged. I'm chain smoking. So
Do you know
One of the comments said she lost too many games at bingo.
Do you remember
she's
the
she's
before whatever with the
Jabber Inc.
janitor? The caretaker with the hand fed with the food, the mashed potatoes. That's what that reminded me of.
Exactly.
Imagine being hated by everybody.
He's so pretty.
This is double. She's like looking for recipes with Eye of Newt. Like fucking.
Did you say Eye of Newt?
Yeah, she's got fucking splinters in her asshole from riding that broomstick.
I picture her like she got that strong hand. Like, she's got that strong hand. She's so much arthritis ridden.
I don't know. I got Dose's picture in my head of her with no teeth.
Hold on.
People in here. That's awesome. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the party.
To the craziness.
Welcome.
Are we starting karaoke soon?
Hey, just a quick update. Isaac's down to 11 viewers.
Just a quick update, Jimmy. You'd never get a woman as hot as me. And you girls can laugh all you want, but I'm old and crotchety. I'm fucking hot as fuck. And everybody who knows me
Samantha,
knows
we've
it.
seen your
Jimmy,
forehead.
look at your
We've
wife.
seen your fucking forehead.
Look at your wife.
Okay, Samantha.
You mean temperature-wise? Seen my forehead. Is that all you fucking got? Take a look at the picture. Take a look at the picture. You guys are nothing. You sit up there and bully a woman. A bunch of men bullying women, and you call
bully
yourself
everybody.
a man?
So who the hell
Get
are you?
a life.
Mad.
Live where I'm
And then you expect
Stompy
me. So
mad.
Stop,
Are you
old lady.
assuming
Go away.
gender,
Big
Samantha?
stompy mad.
Well, this is the best. Yeah,
Big
bye.
stompy mad. Big stompy mad.
That's the best.
Big stompy mad.
Remember that? You're a cunt.
Hey,
I'm a cunt.
Victoria, are you wearing your work clothes right now? Because this is what a beautiful woman looks naturally while she's doing mothering and being
Yep.
a trad wife.
Oh my
That's,
goodness.
Fuck you. Yeah, okay.
The finger is bent. The finger is bent. You were right.
I'm from America.
Let me see your hands.
No, that's got Climatican written all over it.
Samantha looks like a booster I used to hire for fucking meat.
I've never stolen my legs. Stop with your fucking You're discussing trash just because you.
Who's mute? That's up
What's that now?
powers.
Bye.
Yeah.
Looks like she was getting ready.
Bye.
Bye.
Guys, you know who Angela is from 90 Day Fiance? You guys know who she is?
Yes, I do. I do.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my
Oh my
God,
God,
that
yes.
is Angela.
Oh my God. Yes,
funny.
Lisa.
That's fucking brilliant.
That
my
was scary, that one.
What the hell
I'm
just
glad it's
happened?
over now.
American.
Call her Angela from now on.
Must have been love.
Scared me.
What the hell just happened?
Turtle, you're a hot grandma.
Got your mind distracted.
That video was bad. I didn't really like that video. I'm way hotter than that video.
Dylan, are you okay?
Thank you.
Dylan,
You know what I
are you
used to call the MILF? And
No,
then
I'm getting scared of what the hell just happened.
right?
I called a MILF, and then I became a grandma. And some people were like, "You're a G MILF," and I
Rich
thought
people,
they meant
yes.
grandma MILF, right? Like I'm like, right on. Or no, I thought they meant gangster MILF. And then like, no, it's grandma MILF. I'm like, ah, for fuck's sakes.
Grandma milk.
But I thought it was gangster. I'm gonna stick with gangster.
Well, Absorb
I like that
wants
better.
a watch party. Hey!
One question.
Yay!
Why does everyone hate Jimmy so much?
I don't, Dylan, because I tell them I absolutely just tell them who they are, and I don't shy away from it. And then when they don't believe me, I make fun of them in a pseudo racist way, and
okay.
it makes them very, very angry. And that's what I do.
I knew you were gonna get a watch party at any minute.
Well, I'm in a watch party. Cool.
Yeah, it's your first time, isn't it?
Who's
No.
watching us?
Hello, everyone. Hello.
We're characters.
Who's creeping?
Hi, Kale. I don't know who else is in there, honestly.
Doesn't matter.
Who's watching?
In their lives, watching our lives.
Who is?
She's private, right? Is that what it is?
Of course.
Yeah, she's private.
Who
Or
is?
she's age restricted.
No, she's doing a watch party if she's private.
No, TikTok scientists, put your junk back in your pants. Key parties are for base people only.
TikTok scientist. Our watch party.
Oops.
TikTok science is the virtual schmeckle going. He's stroking the virtual schmeckle.
Oh, absorbed?
Michael. Dennis, Steffi.
Well, is there really a watch party right now?
Danny had a watch party on her first night back. Of course. We just
Oh, what,
guessed.
they were doing a watch party on about her life.
Oh, okay.
It's my
Are you okay?
I don't know why they can't just come in. You know, I mean, I know sometimes they get random.
It's age restricted. Hold on, I'll get in there. I'm gonna get in there 1 second. It's age restricted. Secret password, Vic.
You turn the pineapples upside down and everything, TikTok scientists. Sounds like a good time.
I'm gonna jump out, and go on my other phone. This phone is dead.
Okay. Backwoods, what are you doing?
So what's everyone else up to today?
working on his fitness.
Good for him.
My fitness.
I'm working on my fitness.
Flag day, so I finished flags. Now I'm gonna do what I do every day. I'm gonna hit my chest, my arms, my back.
Good for you.
Well, that's real, guys. That's real body positivity. You start to work on your own.
Fucking rights it is.
Well done.
So I saw you in a live earlier this morning. How was that?
Me?
What?
Yeah.
Crystal?
This morning?
Absorbed one. Absorbed one has. Hold on. Absorbed one has 23 losers watching. Here it is.
Crystal has been pissed off at Butters for a couple of months now over being blacklisted. Jimmy just made a joke about me, and she doesn't say fucking shit. Over there because he's too fucking stupid to turn his volume down.
It's live, is it?
Screeching. Oi, I'm sorry, buddy. It's like screeching. I don't know what's going on, but
They
it's
want
live, is
that.
it?
Listen, they can't do it if it's screeching.
It's me being on my phone.
No, it's not you.
Oh, what happened? What happened? It's too quiet in here.
Who's
There, it's me. It's my account that doesn't have a bunch of warnings yet.
Hi, puppy. Hi, husband.
It's from Turtle.
Hey, Absorb, why are you watching us?
Hi, puppy. Hi, husband. It's from Turtle.
Yes.
Why are you watching us?
Are you giving me the finger?
Okay, well, I'm gonna jump in, guys. If I think of any fun characters, I'll come
Not you. Don't worry, Turtle.
Hi, Michael.
back to you guys.
Get them out and join the finger box.
They're so fucking dumb that they don't know how to turn those volumes down.
I'm turning my volume.
I'm doing it on purpose. Who's the dumb one?
Drown them all out. You guys are all right. You Trans people are humans. People are humans.
And Absorbon is wondering why I blocked her a bunch of months ago. Like this is part of why, because she's a cunt, and I meant that when I said it.
I'm not blocked.
I'm not blocked. Why? Because you have another account? Creepy
The
little
feedback
kid.
is ruining my recording.
Listen. Oh, they're so
What are they
dumb.
swapping
You don't know it's going to echo. Yeah, I'm ruining your fun right now, stupid. I'm ruining your fun.
What a time to be alive. You want to do some karaoke? Maybe they can watch us sing.
Imagine, like not wanting to interact and like being like, we're just going to sit over here and like comment to ourselves because like their comments, like what Splendor was saying earlier, like Isaac's a liar. He definitely doesn't recant anything, or it doesn't not recant. He definitely doesn't accurately go over fact, makes things up. These people do the same thing. They're just losers, man. Like,
Losers.
Take accountability. Yeah. Oh, that's our girl. Never mind.
Can you guys hear me okay on this account?
Yes.
Okay, good.
It's our Janine.
anywho, I wish people wouldn't bring up the fact that they're watching us. I'd rather just say things.
All right, let's just say things.
All right, she's a fake native. She's white as fuck. She's utilizing the system. She's gaming it. She's no better than any of these immigrants that are coming here trying to take advantage of our socialized systems. And she's a pretendian, and she can literally take all of her sad feelings and fuck off. And when she walks around with those sad feelings, people should ask her why the long fucking face.
Who? Well, there's that.
I could have articulated that any better.
Look at Red.
Who are we talking about?
Oh, that's priceless.
Disappointed in all of you.
Jimmy, who are you talking about?
He secretly is.
Oh, I do have something to add. To
I told you I was going to piss off a group of people tonight. I told you I was going to piss a whole ass group of people off.
Well, you were in the mood for it.
I am.
Yeah, he preemptively warned everybody, so.
Get out of my way!
Like, Crystal is up there, and she's telling people off, and she's kind of getting dogpiled, and then that's when I went in, I was like, Gator Pond stuff, you know? You're like, what's that? Gator Pond is
All I heard was Lisa going, Gator Pond, but she was safe. I'm like, who the hell's in the Gator Pond?
know that you were safe. I was just getting messages from people being like, it's your reinforcements, and I was like, oh, away.
Broadway Elephant thinks that I'm afraid of notes from a fucking person with a mental illness. Of course they're going to say things. They don't accurately report stories, right? So any investigation that you think might come from this, if it ever gets to that point, which I highly doubt it, because it's fucking TikTok and people talk shit to each other on TikTok. If it ever gets to that point, you guys are going to be the ones that look like the fools. I promise you that. I have deep pockets. No, not you guys. They're to the left. I have deep pockets. Eh? Like, I got racks, bro. Like, you guys think that I don't have fucking money? It's hilarious. You think that my money comes from my wife? It's hilarious. You can't even track me down and figure out how I make money. Are you fucking insane? What's wrong with you stupid fucks?
Can I have some money?
Well,
Yeah,
apparently,
money's good.
try to take stuff from you. I got nothing to give you, buddy. You're gonna be waiting for that money forever.
We're not the issue, he says. Like, are you still on Bernie Farber's dick? Are you sucking Evan Balgord off, you fucking weirdo? You go to Canadian Anti-Hate Network for your information. You guys are literal putzes. Low information fucking faggots that like to run around on the internet and cause shit, and you expect people not to retaliate? Like,
Wait, what happened with Christy this morning? Did she say something?
I don't give a fuck what she is. Which Christy?
What's that about?
Yeah, she said something about Jimmy this morning.
Oh, who fucking cares what she has to say? Who fucking cares that, like,
Everybody's got something
Christy?
to say about Jimmy every morning.
Who fucking cares?
Why was people ganging up on Crystal for? What was that about?
Yeah, that
They
was
find
weird.
soft. So what they do is they find soft targets and they try to exploit them, right? So Crystal had to deal with fucking Jordan, the operator, fucking saying, "Hey, everybody, let's go for a beer" every time that Crystal showed up, right? Lisa Bellis
Yeah,
had
that
to
was
deal with this fucking man twink of a fucking queer boy, fucking Nick, for I don't know how long behaving the way that he has. They think they have no impunity. They're gonna get Brian Dirksen in the middle of Wellington. Like that's what's gonna happen. Someone's gonna continue. They're gonna keep pushing. Like they think that their internet balls aren't gonna get their real life teeth knocked out. I'm not saying I'm the guy that's gonna do it, but it's gonna continue to fucking happen. People are fed up with this bullshit. They're done. And they'll take the consequences in order to fucking feel better, and that's really what it is, right? You can only beat somebody so many times before they punch back. Yeah, how many times do you kick a dog before the dog starts biting you? How many times?
That bill, right? Is it enacted now? Is it like, are they able to now start like?
No, they did a first reading, right, for C-63. So it'll need 3 readings, then it'll need royal assent, right? It'll have to go to the Congress every single time. Yeah, I don't even know if they have time before the next election to enact it.
Right. Do you think it'll go to royal assent, or I don't think it's going to.
I don't think they have time. I don't think they have time.
It's bullshit. The whole thing is fucking bullshit.
Well, they've already implemented it in the UK, and it's not working very well there.
Oh, they're going after.
The UK is fucked.
The UK, it's been about a year now. I've seen a lot of arrests for like ridiculous things, like silently praying outside an abortion clinic or something like that.
That's not that one though, Turtle. That's C-367, which is the one that prevents people from outwardly preaching the Bible in public.
In the United Kingdom?
No, in Canada. It's C-
Oh no, I'm talking about the UK. So there's similar beasts. But wait a second. Sorry, Joseph. Jimmy, what bill are you talking about praying? There was one that passed.
See, it's a private member's bill that was brought forward. I can't remember the MP's name, but the C-367. It's a private member's bill, and it's basically preventing people from preaching the Bible openly because they feel like certain things. Not even just the Bible. I shouldn't say that. But like verses from the Talmud, the Quran, the Torah, the Bible.
Isn't that Young and Dundas? And they were still the. It's interesting because at Young and Dundas, I went on 420 to go get beef patties, and so it was really rocking down there on 420. And the Islam Bibles were still, Islam Qurans were still being promoted, and the guy that yells. So it's kind of funny because there's the Islam guy, and then there's the Christian or Catholic or whatever, and they both kind of.
Well, let's be honest. Like, even if that legislation were to ever go through, it wouldn't be applied equally or evenly, right? Like, there's an attack on white Anglo-Saxon heterosexual males, right? And they keep pushing us to the point where they're like, see, they are violent, and they do go after, and they say these hurtful things. Well, yeah, I mean, like. In 1970, this fucking country was 70% fucking white.
But now there's liberals in Quebec that want to take
90% white in 1970. Sorry, I screwed up my numbers.
C-367 to court because they want exemptions for Israel or Jewish people.
Yeah, don't worry. The Jews get to say whatever the fuck they want. Everybody else has to.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do.
No, but that's in Quebec. Like in Quebec.
100% literally take it to the bank and cash it under fucking Rothschild. Yeah, 100% you do. Jews get to say whatever.
Look at a lot of words you
Look at Weinstein. Weinstein just got off his.
He just got off today. Because
that's not all Jews, though. See, this is where the problem starts.
It's just
but you have to admit this is where the problem starts.
Okay, so let me preface this conversation that we're gonna get into. Okay, right? So
be careful, my dear, especially as you are Jewish.
We don't have to be careful.
I know.
We don't have to be careful because, like, what we can say is, like, oh, I'm sorry. When you say the Chinese, what does that mean? When you say the Russians, what does that mean? Right? When you say right, but you understand what I'm saying. I'm not talking about every Chinese person.
Especially with what our history is, and you know that. So I think it's really careful that we have to be very.
I know, but like, so like that's just a snapshot of history, right? Like to say that, like obviously what happened was terrible. I'm not.
But they're arguing this in Quebec just because there was 2 Jewish schools in Montreal that got shot up.
what I'm saying is like, okay, so like the history, right? So like obviously the history was terrible. We know what happened, right? As a result of what? What was it? Why did everybody just get so mad in the way? And why did this one group of people? Well, I mean, we could look at the Holodomor famine. We could look at Solzhenitsyn's work through the Gulag Archipelago. We could look at all of
not all
these things.
Jews. That was a
No.
group of rich Jews, which
Nothing to do
doesn't
with
make the whole Jewish people.
It was an entire country.
Why are
We
we
shouldn't be
talking about this?
because
Why-
we have to
Can
base this argument.
Can we
We have to
change
base this
topic?
argument.
we change
No,
the topic?
no, because me and Steffi are fine. We can base this argument on fact. We're not fighting at all.
I just don't think we should be talking about this.
It's fine. We have to talk about this, Crystal. We have to talk about this, right? So, like, there was groups of people that were oppressed by other groups of people, realistically, and it resulted in a bunch of people dying. And it happened before the Holocaust, and it happened at the Holocaust. And these are behaviors and actions that we should not allow to exist in this country or in the world, I suppose. I don't really give a fuck about anywhere else. But, like, we're dangerously dancing on this line of this is how you get Nazis, right?
We're dangerously dancing on it happening all over again right now.
Facts,
Everything.
right? And if we
Every
don't
aspect
understand the fucking history behind this shit, we don't understand why people are upset. We don't understand, and we're only looking at one side of the story as far as WWII and WWI are involved, and like people are noticing things, and it's going to come to a fever pitch, and it's going to pop off again. And if we're not paying attention to history, then we are going to be victims of it repeating. That's all I'm saying.
I came for the karaoke. What's going on here?
We're just. We can do karaoke again. It's fine.
You know what? We should do that song by that Jew.
Sorry, it's just a super.
Barbara Streisand.
Might have to be more specific there, Steph.
You know the Jesus song.
I wasn't.
When
I'm just saying, though, like,
lay me to rest,
listen.
It's
gonna
heavy,
go to the place that's
right?
the best.
Yeah, he's fine. That's the greatest Christian rock song of all time. Was it written by a Jew?
Yeah,
Oh
Norman
my
Greenbaum.
fucking God. I fucking love it.
We do everything.
Yeah, it's not the people, right? So, like, when you say, like, the Russians or the Australians, the Canadians, the Americans, when you single out a group of people identified by a state, it's not necessarily about every person that's in there. You're talking about leadership of the people that are in control of these things, right? And these, for some reason, you can say it about every other physical border in the world. You could be like, these Polynesians, holy fuck, right? Like, you could be like these East Sudanese. You could be like these Japanese. You could be like these Laotians. The second you say these Jews, it's a fucking problem. It's a problem. And the whole world, it's fucked up.
Because of what but it's also a problem when you say these blacks, right?
Yeah.
The
Like you wouldn't
blacks?
say that. Yeah, you wouldn't say that. Or a derogatory.
You can definitely say the blacks, right? Most blacks would be like, yeah, there's some fucked up motherfuckers.
in that country, but
It would
Israel.
not. It would not be
I
okay.
don't want to talk, but okay, so I don't want to talk to the ones that would not. I want to talk to the ones that say,
Fair enough, but still, I think it's careful, that's all. Differentiate.
No, I don't think we do. Don't think we do. I don't think we do. I want to weed out the weak ones.
Those Israelis, then. So TikTok scientists.
Those Israelis, I suppose you can say the Israelis, right? Like, am I pissing off the black Hebrew Israelites when I say the Jews? Wait, I don't know.
Well, there's the lost temple of Ethiopia.
Jew is not a nationality. Explain birthright passports, please. Explain passports given by fucking DNA. Explain that. I'll wait.
Good job, Slip.
I'll wait. Explain that.
Meshuggah.
Yeah, Meshuggah. I'm fucking feeling some convulsing happening right now. My tuchus is fucking retching.
And that, like, are black people who are born in America, are they African Americans or are they just American?
They're Americans.
Exactly. So, like, it's the same thing with Israelis and Jews. Not all Jews are born in Israel.
No, but if you can send a DNA test to fucking Bibi Netanyahu and get a fucking passport if you want.
You can do that here too.
For a DNA test?
Well, with the natives, yeah.
Prove they? Oh, I suppose. Yeah. I didn't even think about
Test? I missed that. I was away from the phone. Did you say there was a Jew test?
that. Yeah, there's a Jew test. If you like get your like blood, you prick your finger. You prick your finger if you're a diabetic, and then you send it off to BB, and he's like, "Yep, Jew enough for me. Here's your passport."
My sister did the 23andMe. I don't know why, just a whole pages of Jew names came back for relatives.
You prick your finger and then you show them your bank statement. Like, well,
Anyways, we can move on. But like, that's my whole point, right? Like, so like, right? People are like Russia. You know what I mean? They're like China, right? All of these things, but like, I mean, like, Israel exists as a country for Jews. Like, I don't see the difference here.
But it's not just it's got everybody. In fact, Arabs are even in government there. Filipinos are. Anybody can run.
Wheat Kings, why do you have a picture of Simon Cowell behind you?
I thought I was coming into karaoke. I get my Jewish pass? My name's Hebrew. It was Aaron, brother of Moses.
Is Simon Cowell?
I think it means speaker or mouthpiece, and I'd like to stay quiet. Thank you.
No, it said sarcastic.
Anyways, I'm okay with people believing in Judaism. I have no problem with their belief in Judaism. I have no problem with going to synagogue or believing the Torah or any of these things. There's little things that are involved with that, you know, but I mean, like, that happens in every religion, right? So, like, can we really single it out? No, right? But there is some shit that needs to be talked about. We can't always go back to, oh my God, look what happened to our people.
Been like really good.
When the same people that unfortunately caused the death of innocent people were the ones that were killing innocent people prior to that happening. So,
But that's the thing. They weren't. Not all of them were. It was the same people that start every war. And this is where I get my back up. I had nothing to do with that. My bloodline had nothing to do with that.
yeah. No, I know that. I think, and I suppose that there should be more nuance to my argument. So, yeah, thanks for pointing that out.
Jimmy, I'm sure you're familiar with the teachings in Ezekiel, with the nations, all the nations turning on Israel.
Yes, it's happening again.
Gog, Magog, China, which would be like China, Russia, the East raising their army, like, without getting into religion, just biblical prophecy, whatever.
It's been, yeah, there's you can draw correlations to a lot of stuff, man.
Like the nations losing their blessing when they turn on Israel and stuff.
except for Jordan and the other one, what's that? Sudan, isn't it? Those are the two that
Yeah, so it's done.
But what Israel like? That's I always think of like their secular Israel. Like I think of that in a political way, and then there's religious Judaism. Like there's secular Jews and religious Jews. So I view all politics as a different. Like, how do you separate church and state in Israel?
You can't.
They do. You can be anything and run for government in Israel. They have Arabs, they have Filipinos, they have everybody. They have Christians, they have everything. It's not you don't just have to be Jewish to go there.
Samantha,
But you cannot be Jewish to walk into Palestine or to Iran or to any of these other countries. And that's not fair. So that's the truth. And people need to remember that. If you Chris Sky said it on his wall. He said if he was to be put in a Palestinian armor and then dropped into Israel, how fast would they kill him? And my question is my answer to that is probably faster if we were to dress you as an IDF soldier and drop you in Palestine.
Right. And what do they call Chris Sky though? Like they called Chris Sky a Holocaust denier. That was the way that they slimed him.
He has done it. I've seen the posts, their Twitter posts, and he's done it.
Yeah, I'm not willing to go into that conversation because there's literal Canadian laws about that, which is fucked up. But
What conversation was?
Holocaust denial is punishable.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Yeah, Holocaust denial is punishable under Canadian law. Under Section 319. Section 319 of federal law. I believe 319. Yeah, you are not allowed to deny that shit, or you face punishment of monetary fines or even jail time if you happen to do so. Look it up.
Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about. I remember. I know that First Nations were kind of above certain laws. So if you ever want me to say anything.
I wouldn't be surprised in the next 5 years that they start saying that residential school denial is also going to be punishable underneath these things. They need these narratives in order to control the situations that are going around, right? So, like, I watched a video earlier today about a professor that looked into like these claims that was all across the media for, I think it was about a year and a half ago, in regards to all these. All of a sudden we found bodies. But it was just like all based on like ground penetrating radar, and they got everybody really upset. And then when they dug up these things, they were like, "Oh, these are just anomalies in rock."
So it was 217 initially, and then it went up to thousands, and then you saw Trudeau, on the place. But the thing is, there was a few, of course, but people died and people were buried, and they say, "Oh, it was unmarked." Well, those wooden crosses only survived so long. And then when they did find out that a lot of it was ground penetrating and just anomalies, they used the excuse that, oh, well, we don't want to disrupt this grave. So the anomalies, let's just pretend that they're bodies.
It backfired on them because the Indigenous community, like our First Nations communities here in Canada, were like, well, we need to give these people proper burials as part of our tradition, and this is what we need to do. And they're like, oh, can't you just let us tell everybody that a bunch of white Christian teachers like murdered Indian kids instead? Because that'd be advantageous for us. And they were like, no, we really want to do this. And they went to dig and they haven't found shit.
Well, yeah, exactly. So when they found out it was just anomalies of the proportionate one, that's when the narrative switched to being like, well, we don't want to disturb the ground. Yes, you know what? Absolutely. Somewhere
it's a fucking lie.
We're unalived by like experiments and all that. That's horrible, and it happened. But they also had meningitis and whatever else that would kill every race of people.
Was one of the big ones. I think
what bugs me the most is okay. About 70% of nations in North America believe in blood quantum. Now, back in the day, yes, blood quantum was made to be harmful for us, but it backfired now because it actually matters now. And so they've got a bunch of people twisted, people like Blue Turtle or whoever twisted, thinking, oh, 1% is enough. No, that means, okay, for instance, my grandson, okay? He's native Norwegian, white, Jamaican, and let's say he marries an Asian, right? So now he's going to have the Asian, blah, blah, blah. So he's going to be like, my great-grandkid will be like 1%. That does not make you native. If I have 1% Chinese, does not make me Chinese. Now they want it. They push this in order to allow, like what Adrian talks about. It's going to be just a bunch of. So they always say land back, land back, land back, right? No, it's land grab. They're getting the natives to be that don't really know the deep details of the government to say land back and what's it about, and everyone has their own narrative on what it means. But really, it's just a way to grab the land. Let's allow 1%ers, and all those 1%ers are going to take over 1/3 of all the land. You know what I'm saying?
Adrian's absolutely right. So he's talking about UNDRIP. I think you are too. UNDRIP and UNDROP.
Yeah, UNDRIP and UNDROP, yeah.
Yeah, right. So like these are things that we've seen play out through other Five Eyes nations within Australia and into New Zealand and stuff like this. These are very big problems, right? But like they're grandstanding, they're tap dancing on these false graves of these poor native children that white Christian teachers somehow murdered while in their control under residential schools. I mean, like kids died. Right? The simple fact of the matter is if they brought a child to these residential schools. To I don't know, bring them up to speed on English or whatever the thought process was. You know what I mean? They're like, we just need to create a society here.
Listen, I speak to a lot of old timers that went through the hardcore, right?
Can I finish real quick?
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Right. So what happened was like in a multitude of these residential schools, there was white kids, there was European kids that were there as well. They had the same treatment. Unfortunately, children did die. the children that were native that died that were far away from the reserves and stuff like that, they would send a messenger out, and it would get there right away and be like, listen, okay, well, we can send the body back, and you guys can do a burial there. It's going to cost you, I don't know, $100, which is a lot of money at the time, no doubt. Or we'll give them a proper Christian burial here, right? They marked the graves, they recorded the names, they did all the things that they were supposed to fucking do. And now we're looking at a situation where like it's run amok, and every single time that the government tries to poke and prod and tap dance on the graves of dead Indigenous children, the Indigenous population correctly says, okay, well, we're going to give them the proper burial now because we have the finances and the funds to do so. And every time they dig that up, they find absolutely fucking nothing, because there weren't any hidden bodies. There was none. There was just none.
There was a
And
few,
it's
Jimmy.
Disgusting and gross that they're fucking riling up
There was a lot of
people.
children that were
so
born.
that's the thing. There was a few that were, and they wrote on that, like you said, story doses, and then it became 200, 2,000, etc. Right now, okay, my dad suffered, and he suffered bad, like SA, all that, right, and so did a lot of the old timers I talked to. Like some of their hands, like a white whatever from methods of punishment. It would like burn your hands and stuff like that, right? And then the Health Canada, health organization would do nutritional experiments to do that. You know, that Canada Health Guide or whatever, and to see how much you would need to be not fed in order for your teeth to start to rot, etc. That shit happened. Like, you know what I mean? But in regards to flat out unaliving, like the M word, I don't believe that was the case, just based on what I've heard from elders. But there was absolutely a shit ton of SA by nuns, by Protestants, by everyone. Like that's a given. Yeah.
Also, what happened in the past.
I don't disagree that there was like bad behaviors within these things. I'm not trying, but here's the problem, right? Like the second that you're like, wait a minute, let me just correct you on this obvious blatant lie, right? People are so emotionally engaged in these things that all of a sudden you're not allowed to have these conversations anymore. And what I was trying to say earlier, the correlation that I was trying to bring towards this is a lot of similar things are happening in other points of history. And if we're not there to correct these things now and make sure that the record gets set straight, then we're going to be looking at history through a lens of victimization and lies. And we can't have this happen if we know these things to be true.
I don't know. Did you see the one where they did find in the anomaly at they did exhume, and they did like it was 300 miles or something, whatever, and it was like a convoy to bring that body home. But in all reality, no one knows for sure. Like the thing is, there was records, like you said, Jimmy. There was records, and there was crosses and stuff like that. And yeah, over time, it eroded. The wooden crosses eroded. Family members maybe didn't know, or they're just they'd have no longer any family members because it was such a long time ago. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I'm not trying to like.
A very good friend of mine, her father was in the residential school system, and it was hell. He ended up taking his own life. There was SA. There was all kinds of things that happened there. There was terrible things that happened. I'm not trying to paint a picture of the residential school system being perfect. But what I want to do is I want to make sure that we're fucking accurate when we're talking about these things, right? And if you're going to say that people being sexually abused isn't enough, and now we have to make up this fantasy story about 1,000 children being buried without
it gets
fucking
exaggerated. My dad had a lot of good stories too, right? And like, I guess in some ways it depended where you were and whatever. You could be fortunate to be able to go home on weekends or whatever. And there are a ton of sad stories, but my dad, like, honestly, like, it's hard for me to gauge, like, that there could have been good, but there was.
It's a big misnomer, right? Like when they talk about residential schools, they want to portray it as like this environment where there was only Native children and there was only Catholic priests and nuns that were talking to them. There was Canadian kids, immigrants from all over Europe. They were all intermingled within these school systems. You get to go home if your home was close enough. If it wasn't close enough, then they provided lodging, all of these things. It wasn't just for Native kids. It wasn't. There was all kinds of other kids that were there at the same
There's a
time.
lot of fucked up shit that happened there, though. Like, there's a lot of...
Yeah, well, there was, but like a lot
set up
of fucked up shit happened back then.
What does it?
Yeah, but those schools never should have existed in the first place.
No, it shouldn't.
Oh.
And
I think I have a low
I
signal.
think bad stuff happens now to this day
We're
to
so
everybody.
spread out. Like even today as Canadians, we're very spread out. But like picture like back in pioneering days, you know what I mean? Back when people were building communities, right? When we were trying to get along, we couldn't communicate with each other. They would have one local area. And if the kids that were close there could go home, but like they didn't have the infrastructure to put a school in every little community, right? And this is what would happen.
But
like
these kids were ripped from their families. It wasn't like, hey, enroll your kid in school. Like these kids were ripped from their families. These schools were set up to kill the Indian. Like the whole thing never should have happened.
I'm just gonna respectfully disagree. I'm just gonna respectively disagree. I don't think they were.
There's like so much proof of that, though.
I don't think there was.
My mom was separated from her mother, was put into a foster home where she had to attend during the day, but because she had lodging at the foster home, she got to go back to the foster home where they kept her locked into a basement. When she did attend in schools, every time she spoke her language, they beat her. They tied her up. They would hang her on the back hooks of where the closets were, where they put their jackets. They would hang her on there. Her father eventually was able to come. He remarried. He came and he got her, and they kept her in her custody where she failed grade 1 and grade 2 because of what had happened to her in the schools. They had to put her in. At 17 years old, she had a mental breakdown, was hospitalized for it. She did not reconnect with her actual birth mother and her biological siblings until she was 27 years old. And at that point in time, she could not communicate with them. She could not engage in the language. I could not speak to my grandmother. I could not speak to my aunties and my uncles and my mère. It did exist, Jimmy. It did exist, and it did impact.
It was
generations.
extreme. It was the abuse was so extreme, like so vile and extreme, and left with scars. Like
they got family members that are white that grew up in the exact same environment and say that they were all treated the same. So I don't know. Whatever.
They were white, so it might be. I don't know.
It depends where you ended up.
The idea of it, though, is that what they were trying to do is like, one, if you had a Native child come in there, they would chop their hair off, right? And their hair is sacred. It's connected to the earth. It's connected to the creator. They would chop their hair off. They took their language
Like when
away.
they have their braids and they get those chopped
They
off.
took
Like
their
that's
elders away. They were taking their culture away. Is
This
what
is
they were
true.
doing.
Yeah, no, these things are true. Yeah, these things are true.
Oh.
And it was a rough time. It was pioneering era. You're looking at the British Crown that took over.
They took they took babies away from their mothers. Babies.
Crystal.
Yeah, but I mean, like it was about conformity, right? So like the idea was that, right? So I'm not. You guys are missing my point. You guys are missing my point here.
Fighting for kids, but
But wait. You're missing my point here.
no,
You're missing my point. I'm saying that it
I'm
was.
not.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
I don't
Because
think
you're
we're
not
missing
listening
it.
to me.
I'm not
You're not
missing
listening to me. My point is that it was terrible. It was brutal. It was horrible. We didn't understand these things back then. Yes, we should have probably approached that situation with the knowledge that we have today, for sure. But what I'm trying to say is that as awful as it was, hold on, as awful as it was for people of indigeneity, they were building a society here at that time. And I'm not in full support of the decisions or the things that they made, but I just want to be about the facts about that shit. And realistically, to say that, you know, in retrospect, putting a lens of today on it, 100% it was wrong. But back then they didn't know any better, and that's just the way they did things, right?
You can't say they didn't know it. You can't say they didn't know any better. You can't say they didn't know any better.
Never.
If they wanted to build a society, you build it alongside the people that are of the land. You don't
Yeah,
just
no,
be like,
that's
okay,
not,
we're coming in.
that's not how it worked back in the 1700s in a lawless fucking nation.
Yeah, that was way back. Well,
That's not how.
Crystal, when you
That's
mentioned
not
the
how it
babies,
works.
That's not how
right?
it worked.
When you
It's
mentioned
not
the
how
babies,
it works, though. It's not how it works. What do you think Genghis Khan did?
they were
Right?
all demons.
Yeah, but that's
So
you
when
can't
you
just
mentioned-
excuse shitty behavior because that's how it was done. Like you.
I'm not
it's just
excusing
not a
shit,
way.
but yeah, no, I definitely didn't excuse shitty behavior once. I'm like, we can agree that it was a tragedy and it was awful, and there's better ways to do these things now because we've learned from those mistakes, right? But like to sit here and say that, like this wasn't a universal thing and it didn't happen everywhere.
I hear what you're saying, now, Jimmy, because at the same time, like, okay, Florida, my great-great-grandmother, she married Honore. He was brought over in the Irish famine with his twin brother. He was just shipped over at 4 years old with his twin brother and adopted into a native family, right? And so they were bringing over a lot of people to reestablish or to rebuild what it was. It was built on the backs of the Irish. They were trying to remove the culture of
it's true.
Native people, all of that stuff here. They did a lot of horrible stuff, but it didn't just happen in the 1700s. Like what happened to my mother and what happened to my grandmother happened less than 40 years ago. You know, like,
That's one closed
still-
in like 92, I think. And
Yeah,
Crystal, you met
96.
Crystal.
I would agree 100% that the fact that we allowed residential schools to still exist into 1996, the fact that the Indian Act is still in place in this country is a travesty. We're treating
Because
people
a reserve can't have a registered business. Like they
That's a problem.
can't. They
No.
can't have like a guy can't set up a Burger King
or a Walmart or anything. Yeah, you can't have a
Nothing like that.
franchise.
No,
But,
Yeah,
I just wanted to say something to Crystal when she mentioned the babies. So it's like it's national. What is it? Ribbon Skirt Month. This month is Ribbon Skirt Month, and the ribbon skirts were created to hide the babies. So the women would sit around when the government would come. They would hope their babies would stay quiet, and they'd sit around the kitchen table or whatever and hide their babies under their ribbon skirts.
And
that's
Scott,
the-
didn't
that's the reason
just
for
a
ribbon
couple
skirt.
of the reserves recently just start to allow the practice of like basically midwife happening again because they
Yeah.
got rid of it? They said like, no, you had to go to the hospital. You had to have it done there so that they could register Indian kids.
Yeah,
And
birth
it-
alerts too.
So you know
it's
the
still
bullshit.
happening.
So like this happened.
Like years,
happened
and
in-
a couple of the
this happened
reserves
in-
are allowing them to do that again, which again
So this
goes back
happened
to
in Mexico. This happened in Mexico too, under the conquistadors, right? So like when you look at Mayan culture, like to this very day, the Mayans who were indigenous to that portion of North America, was now known as North America, literally to this day have their babies outside of hospitals and they get a Mayan birth certificate. The Mexican government is still trying to impose the fact that they have to have babies there. So like you can literally get a Mayan birth certificate. They do that. They have a ceremony. They have midwives. They do all of these things. And then they register them into the Mexican system, right? So like this existed all across the globe. Is it wrong? Yeah. That's why we don't fucking do it now, right? Like to single out a certain group of people based on their religious belief or skin tone, it's fucking wrong. It's
Yeah, I
wrong.
don't know.
It's just as wrong as what happened back then to be trying to portray this against people right now. And it's a problem. And until people can start having real conversations, I'm never going to sit here and diminish these stories. I think it was terrible and horrible. And I think this is how we learn and grow as a society living together within this nation. 100% we need to talk about these fucking things, right? But to blame people today for the transgressions of people from the past, right? To put a lens from today back on past, we can absolutely look back to it and be like, we don't ever want to do that again. It's fucked up.
I agree. I don't think we should necessarily be blaming anybody, but I do think that we have to acknowledge what happened in order for history not to repeat itself. And that's what we tend to do, is that we sit there, not we, like this collective, but as a society, and we set blame and we want to fix the problem, pay retributions for things that happened in the past. And it never solves anything. It keeps a cycle of, in my opinion, oppression and victimization on people, rather than allowing us to be able to move forward. And I honestly do think we need to start re-examining what's happening in the past, because like I've heard Adrian said it, I know I have said it. We are what happened to the Native people is happening to us. You can take a look at what's going on in BC right now. You can take a look at what's happening in Quebec right now. It is happening to us. So if we don't have these conversations, if we don't recognize that this shit did happen, then we are never, ever going to be able to stop the progression of it repeating itself, which it is right fucking now. Just saying.
I mean, the world's been conquered many times over by a bunch of people that were intent on hurting people. I'm not surprised that people got hurt when conquering is happening, right? These are things that we as humans do. There needs to be checks and balances in regards to these things, right? I'm not saying that we can't sit back and look at these things and reflect on them. That's what the important portion of this conversation is.
Yep.
Is to be able to have these conversations without people getting upset and saying, no, you colonizer this and blah, blah, hate the white man, nah, all the ray. You know what I'm talking about? Right? Like,
hindsight's 2020 in
They always
retrospect.
blame the white man for being the colonizers, because it wasn't just the Europeans, it wasn't just the white people. What about Spain? Spain was huge in it. They were huge.
What about Attila the Hun? What about Genghis Khan? There's multiple.
Empire.
There's you know how big Hungary used to be in Europe? How the fuck did we need to stop. We need to stop. We need to realize that we're not doing these things now. And yes, if we see these things popping up, we should probably bring credence to it and say that, hey, listen, this is a bad fucking idea. Right, but none of us are living this.
Hindsight's 2020. I wish I had voted I wish I had voted to separate when I was a Quebecer. Now that I'm a Canadian, I wish I had voted. It was so tight. Just seeing how Quebec is affected.
We should let him go. Robin,
some of our
Spaniards were white. I don't give a fuck what they were. Was Genghis Khan white? You stupid fuck.
Again, like you can point out, like, okay, these people are white, and these are to the people in the comments. It has not always been white people that have been the oppressors, that have been the conquerors. Like,
white people are literally the global minority.
Thousands of years, right?
White people are the global minority. We sit at 13% of the global population. The global minority. If you happen to look like me, you are the minority. Just pay attention to that shit.
So this live took a bit of a turn.
I warned you.
You warned me.
I warned you. When I first got up here, I said I was going to piss off a whole group of people tonight.
Well, don't purposely piss off people by like doing that stuff. There's other ways, Jimmy.
What stuff?
Take
What
off
stuff
my
did I do?
sweater. I can piss off a whole bunch of group of people too.
What stuff did I do? What stuff did I do? I took a narrative. I took a false narrative and I pushed it down into the mud, and now they're breathing.
Shit. Yeah, that would piss them off.
I took a false ass narrative and I fucking broke it, right? And I'm gonna continue to do so.
Whoa, it's cold.
Matt Hughes, you're so hot. I miss your live so bad. Like,
it's not really him. That was somebody else.
What I would say to First Nations people dealing with the things that I just said and trying to, hopefully you're thinking about it introspectively. Yeah. What I would say is that I think it's a huge problem that this government keeps tap dancing on the supposed graves of these children, trying to rile you up and create division between all of us. I think that's a silly thing to fucking to adhere to. And if I were First Nations and I found out that there was a group of people that said that a bunch of white Christian fucking people murdered a bunch of your fucking family members 100, 200, 300 years ago, and then you found out it wasn't true, and then the government does nothing about it to
Third
correct
at
that,
you account I just blocked in like 5 minutes.
right? I would be mad. I would be mad at who? I wouldn't be mad at the white man pointing this shit out. I'd be mad at the government that's riling you up. Like, why the fuck are they doing that to you?
I agree. You know, there's
When
something
people are
that's
dying out and the world is changing for the better and it triggers them. Are you kidding? Like you want a genocide of white people? Is that what you're saying? Like, get fucked. People are so
before Canada, right? There was a king. I don't remember which king, and Jimmy might know. I don't know, but there was a proclamation or something there. You can look at it. It's like online. It's a document that this king wrote. I think in the 17th, way before Canada, anyway.
King John.
And he said how great like the natives were, and how you can learn a lot, blah 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 blah. And this is how they should be treated, etc. and so forth, right? And then along came whoever it was that I'm on green gummies, but then they changed it, made the treaties, and blah blah blah. But had it have stayed the way that king described First Nations people, life would have been grand, and none of this shit would be happening right now.
Well, I mean, like, we can look back to what happened to the Acadians, right? Like the original Métis, I suppose. We could look in towards the people that came here and intermingled, commingled, and lived the lifestyle with the indigenous people in this land, and what the crown did to the Acadians. Like, that's the only reason why New Orleans exists. The British drove the Acadians out of Canada, and they settled in New Orleans, right? This is why you have the French Quarter down there, and this is why you have so much diversity down there as far as their cultures exist, right? So, like, it's when you look into things like the BNA, the Hudson's Bay Company, the actions that we're taking against the people that were currently living here, like you can't just think Columbus came here and then all hell broke loose, right? Like, why would Thanksgiving exist? Like, there's so many things to indicate against these things. People were living in harmony many years before the British Crown came over. They want to call it colonization. It wasn't colonization. It was feudalism that was being brought across the fucking ocean. It's a totally different thing. It's not colonizing. It's trying to impose law upon people through force, right? People were living. The Acadians, if you look at the Acadians, they were probably the biggest example of an anarcho-capitalist society that was allowed to live unfettered in global history, right? And they were driven out because these ideologies were not favorable to the crown, right? So if you want to post your blame somewhere, don't do it against white people. Do it against the British Crown.
You know what I'm more worried about? I'm worried about this second colonization of, well, whatever you want to call it, of all these mass migrations, and it's going to bring, we're not having babies or anything. Well, natives are. We're having lots of babies, but white people are not having babies. We're being invaded by, and I don't say it in a derogatory way, but a different religion, which can lead to Sharia law in like a few decades, because they come here, then they have tons of babies. So think of the next 2 generations from now. You know what I mean? Like, we are being invaded by migrants. I'm not talking about legal immigrants, nurses, doctors, all that stuff. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about migrants or the people from Venezuela. Look, I watched a Supreme Court hearing last month. They had somebody speaking, I can't remember who. They admitted that Venezuela did empty their insane asylums and their prisons and sent them to the southern border. Then they went through, and a lot of them stay in America. They're in Chicago, wherever, and there's a lot here. There's 2 hotels I go by almost every day that are full of some people from Africa, some people from Venezuela. Now, they're not Muslims, I'm not saying that, but there's a shit ton of Chinese, like whatever. And there's very few children, very few women. This isn't a fucking lie. This isn't a joke. This isn't a game. It's not going to be easy to, what do you call it when you came here illegally and then we kick you out? It's going to be hard to kick out and find 1 million or 2 million people. Then those 2 million people have millions of children. you know, in 4 generations, fuck natives, whites, all Canadians are going to be fucked. We're going to be following a Sharia law. If you look at Detroit, there's a city in Detroit. I don't know if it's, this a city in Michigan that is gone completely Islam.
Dearborn, Michigan.
Yes, and they follow Sharia law. Every member of parliament is for that city. Yeah, Dearborn. I believe it's Dearborn, but there's also a second one. And now if you think that
Lansing.
Yes, so you got that. That's just going to spread around all of North America. That's what I fear. Yep. I'm sick of living in the past.
You know what this town that is following Sharia law did? They abolished the fucking pride flag. They're like, yeah, you're gone.
Wait, they also in the streets.
What do you got up there? No kings.
Yeah, you know what? I think Muslims make up the largest amount of people on the planet, like percentage wise.
But not all Muslims practice Sharia law.
That's
Not
right.
all Muslims practice,
But there is a large proportion that still does, and then you know how we have extremes in all religions, but it seems that the migrants that are coming are extreme ones. I'm not talking about, look, I got a million my neighbors Muslims. I got Muslims that feed me. Like, they're amazing. They're fucking amazing. But they came here legally. They like the culture. They believe in their religion, but they love what they believe or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Canada was founded as a Christian nation, so was America. And then World War I happened, and then World War II happened, and then all of a sudden we were Judeo-Christian. And now we're looking at a situation right now where we're probably getting into World War III. And what's the acronym to make a Judeo-Christian Muslim now? Is that what we're doing? I don't know. Like, I don't see
Islam.
I don't see
Christendom.
But I don't see any. I don't see Jewish people have congregated towards Israel, right? They have, right? So like Jewish people, not all. Oh, I thought you said no. I thought yeah. But so not all. Yeah, I agree. Right? But like, I don't know, man. I don't know. Like, is there? If you think about global numbers and what white Christians make up, is there like not a space for us? Like, should we not have a space? I don't know. Seems like we accept a lot of people.
Everybody should have space. That's the point. It should be equal.
Yeah, they don't want that.
Not shoving it down other people's throats either.
They don't want that for us, though. And what they want to do is they want to bring up things like the Holocaust in residential schools.
Yeah, stick to the past and not look at the future. Like, a good example, and what I do a lot of, is I pay attention to what's going on in the UK and how all this Sharia, all this extremism, etc. And the UK is so tiny. Right? And they've got people pulling in by the boatloads on the daily. Of course, they can't cross the border like it's easy in America, but it's not. They're coming in by the tens of thousands a month in boats.
They dropped buses off in California and stuff today. The guy's out there, he's interviewing them. It's like, where are you going? Chicago, New York, every single blue state they were all going to. Where did they come from? Venezuela, China, Haiti now. Yeah. That's
another interesting thing that y'all might want to know. Sorry for interrupting you, Red. So you know how I'm always on Zoom, okay? Prior to COVID and when I was in the courtrooms and all that, we needed interpreters. Usually a Mandarin interpreter. Rarely Chinese commit crimes, but whatever. They would need a French interpreter, etc. They are having a hard time because there's so many dialects. You could be from one country in Africa and they have 10 different dialects. Mm-hmm. So one interpreter can't do, say, a Norwegian dialect because they don't know that particular one. So now when you have to have interpreters in the court system, there was a ton of Venezuelans the past year, tons in court. Okay. And you now they've got interpreters, which takes up double the amount of court time. So we've already got cases that are being thrown out because of long delays. So you're looking at SA offenders, etc., having their cases dismissed because of delays. You're having the courts overridden with different people that migrated here. I mean, the only benefit, I guess, is that they got fingerprinted. So they can't like change their name all the time. They're fingerprinted as whatever fake name they came in here with, right? But I mean, then you got to wait on the translator, etc. Then whoever's going to bail them out, if someone's going to bail them out, that person needs a
I just can't.
It's insane. It's gobbling up so much resources in every aspect. And then if this bill passes, and you got a bunch of fancy pants and absorbed ones and whoever that's going to start calling the cops on people because their feelings are hurt, let them know. And I hope you're listening. By you doing foolishness like that, if the police even bother to waste their time to arrest people for hate speech or whatever, you are doing something that's going to cause child SA offenders, etc., to walk because you're going to fucking gobble up the courts. Thank you.
They're already walking.
I think that's a good point. I think you made a very excellent point there. I think the only realistic thing that we should do is shut down the motherfucking border. And if anybody here is without a citizenship or a green card that commits a crime, they should leave right away. They should be sent back to wherever the fuck they came from. Any naturalized Canadian citizens absolutely can stay. But we 100% need to get our country back. This is insanity. We can't allow these fucking savages from third world countries to come in and start dictating how we live as Canadians. We built this fucking place together. Yes, there was problems. We've worked through those for the most part. Some people are upset about things that happened in the past. I'm looking towards the future. We need to shut this motherfucker down and get this country back. Period.
When you say savages, are you talking about the people that are coming over and actually like raping and killing people?
Yes, savages, third world
ones that are
vagrants.
causing real
Yeah,
crime
third
problems.
world vagrants, savages.
So you're getting Venezuelans that were either released from prison or whatever, who
what you mean.
now came through America and now they're here and they're doing what they're doing. So a lot of the times it's when I watch, so it's usually, so an average Canadian will be like rob the liquor store. Like if it's a normal store, you don't even get charged. Shoplifting ain't really a crime. But if you fuck with LCBO, then you're going to get a charge, whatever. These people are the ones that are doing the carjacking, doing the home invasions, doing the, like they do en masse into the like home hardware or whatever.
There's so
And
many
take, like,
university students who are
well
being-
over $5,000 worth of shit. And then they get bail. They get bail. They get arrested again. They don't appear. They get arrested again. They get a second bail. They get a third bail. They're doing exactly what they do in their country, only they're doing it with ease because we're so soft on these fuckers. And they just keep getting released. They're considered,
They need to go. Send them
everybody
back.
is marginalized in court. Every single human is marginalized except a white male.
And Blue Turtle, I don't think he was intending like savage to be like in the way that you're perceiving it. I think he's meaning like people worldwide who are not entering within our society and behaving within a civilized manner, regardless.
Yeah, they're savages.
Venezuelans,
Yeah, the
that are
murderers and the
savages.
rapists and
Yeah.
the ones that are like literally like coming here. They hate the country. They're killing
Is
the
there a
citizens.
better way? Let me challenge Blue Turtle. Is
Not
there a
every single person.
better word for this? What would you call them, Blue Turtle? What would you call these people that are intent to come into our society and destroy our way of life and not give a fuck about the court system and disrupt families that are just trying to do the right thing?
A lot of them are essays too. A lot of them are essays on randoms. So these, a lot of Venezuelans. I'm trying to remember the other. It's a very. I call it the migrant of the month. That's what I call it. So basically, a shit ton of migrants from, let's say, Venezuela come, and then the next month it's like, what are those gypsies from Romania? So say it's a bunch of Romanians, and then within a few months,
Oh,
there's
gypsies, they're
Romanians gobbling up the
travelers.
court
You
time.
can't wait, hold on. Here comes wee woo. Here's the politically correct police coming in. Don't call them gypsies. They're fucking travelers. Now tell me a word for savages,
They
please.
call themselves gypsies, and I fucking know travelers in the UK that come
When he
here.
means the word savages, look up the word savages and not it. Don't put race to it. Put the actions of what they're doing to it. Like that's what he means. If your brain goes immediately to race when he didn't say that, then
Yeah, we were talking about Venezuelan people released from prisons and insane asylums. And yeah, they're fucking savages.
and a lot of them are illegally here. They're not going through the process.
When
They're
I
not-
say migrant, that's what I mean. They're illegal. That's mass migration. There's a mass migration happening around the world. I'm sorry for cutting you off, Lisa. I mean,
Has anybody taken a look at our top 10 most wanted in Canada this last week?
wasn't it
I'm just
top
saying.
25?
Just take a look.
I know, I saw. There
That's-
wasn't a white man
If
on
that
there.
makes me bigoted for saying that, just have a look at it.
You're a bigot. You're
I
a
don't
fucking
look
bigot.
here
I
now.
saw it. And you know what? You're 100% correct. I don't think there was a white man on there. But you know what's crazy is the only non-marginalized person in the court is a white man. A white straight man. Every single thing gets you a marginalized status in the courts, whether it's gay, whether it's homeless, whether it's addict, whether it's First Nations, whether it's black, whether it's a woman, whether it's whatever. They're all considered marginalized. They address them that way in the bail hearings. As a marginalized person, blah, 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 you have A, B,